Hey everyone, welcome to part 3 of my entire video game collection. Today I'm focusing on my GameCube games. Now, what's kind of interesting about my GameCube collection is that I'm missing a lot of Nintendo titles. These are games made by Nintendo, published by Nintendo, games like Mario Kart Double Dash, Wind Waker, uh, Super Smash Bros. Melee, a lot of games like that, I don't have. And the primary reason for that is they've gotten fairly expensive. And honestly, I'd rather spend my money on newer games. Uh, but that being said, I have a decent GameCube collection here, consisting of mostly third-party titles. And these titles, I could have gotten them on the PlayStation 2, and some people might say they're better on the PlayStation 2. I don't know about that, but I just really like the GameCube as a console, and I love the GameCube controller. So I just like getting these third-party games on that system. So to start things out, we have From Russia with Love, 007. Uh, this is kind of an adaptation of the film. They even brought back Sean Connery to voice Bond, and this is okay. Honestly, it's not the best. It is kind of dull and repetitive. But it's neat. The presentation is nice, and just the fact that they got Sean Connery back, I think, is enough to warrant picking this up. I don't think it's too expensive. Next up, we have 007 Agent Under Fire. This was this certainly wasn't the first video game inspired by the Bond films, but this was kind of the first in an ongoing series from EA that started, I guess, with the PlayStation, Xbox, GameCube generation. Not the best James Bond game, but a pretty decent start, um, but a decent game. Next up, we have Batman Vengeance. Ooh, almost dropped it. Um, this is a cool game, really great presentation. The animation in it is exactly like on the cartoon um, that this is based off of. So yes, excellent presentation. The controls are a bit awkward, but still a really good game. Next up, this is a game that's part of I think probably one of my favorite video game series of all time. It's part of the Legacy of Kain series. And this is Blood Omen 2, and this is, I think, really the only game in the entire series that was for for other systems that went multi-platform. Because the original Blood Omen was on just on the PlayStation, and then the games in that series, I think after that, were on the just on the PlayStation 2. I don't know. It may have been on Xbox as well. I'm not really sure. I know Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 2 was on just on PlayStation 2. This one though got multi-platform release. I'm not really sure about the last game in the series, but anyway, I digress. This is a great series. You play a vampire in this. You can suck people's blood and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Um, Graphics aren't the best, but still a fun game. Next up, we have Chibi Robo Plug into Adventure. And this is a really interesting game. You play this little robo guy, and he is a family robot that goes around cleaning up messes. Um, you can cook, you can exterminate bugs, all kinds of things like that. Of course, you're running out of charge, so you have to go back and plug yourself in. Um, and this is an interesting game. Some great graphics on it for the GameCube, at least. Really interesting. I wouldn't say it's incredibly fun, but a unique game nonetheless. They came out with a sequel to this on the DS, which I don't think was as good. With that, you were kind of trying to fix a public park up, like plant flowers and things like that. I don't think it was as good as this one. But they're actually coming out with a new game in the series for 3DS, which is going to be like an action platformer. So that's kind of neat. Next up, we have Die Hard Vendetta. This is a first-person shooter. This I think is yeah, it's a new uh, storyline using the character from the film. It actually has the voice of Reginald VelJohnson in it, who played Officer Powell in the first Die Hard movie. So that's pretty cool. Um, then we have Enter the Matrix. This was this game had a lot of hype going on it with it, and I remember actually going to see the the Matrix Reloaded, and then going to buy this the same day. And I gotta say, I was kind of let down a little by the game. The game is fun. I think it captures the spirit of the movies fairly well, but the environments are incredibly dull and lifeless, and the controls really aren't the best. You can still pull off some cool moves in it with the bullet time mechanic, and it does have a whole storyline and with actual film footage that was made specifically for this. So that's kind of neat. Definitely a reason to own this if you're a big Matrix fan. Next up, we have The Hobbit. This is an action platformer, pretty hard game, but based off the book. Um, this was back when Sierra was trying to make Lord of the Rings games. I think they made this, and then um, they did one for the Fellowship of the Ring, which was more of kind of, I guess, an action RPG. It was an action RPG, but more on the RPG side where you did quests and side quests and stuff. Um, but yeah, they were going to make the Two Towers and Return of the King, but that didn't work out. And the EA games, Two Towers and Return of the King, which were more brawlers, really kind of became more popular. And I guess they sold better than these. But next up is Lego Star Wars, the video game. Love these Lego games. Love them. So this is the prequel trilogy one, and then we have the original trilogy here. These are a lot of fun. I know I can get the complete saga, which I actually do have on PC. But this was a system that I originally played these games on, so I had to get them back and play through them again. And what I was talking about a little bit ago is the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, and Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I remember when I originally played these on PlayStation 2, I actually got my mom to return something to, I think, Circuit City of all places, and told her I wanted these games, or I guess I just told her to buy me something that she thought I would like or whatever. I'm not really sure, but she actually bought me this one, and then the Fellowship of the Ring game by Sierra, which I was liking this game a lot more than that one. And these are really fun games. They are action kind of beat 'em up games with level up RPG elements to it. And they can get pretty challenging. They actually do have clips from the films in them, and a lot of behind the scenes stuff as well. So definitely be on the lookout for these. They're really fun games. Next up, we have Medal of Honor Rising Sun. The Medal of Honor series was really good during this time where we had like Frontline. I think they came out with European Assault as well, and those were really good games. Rising Sun is a lot of fun too. This really this starts at the attack on Pearl Harbor and really focuses on the campaign in the Pacific, but a really cool game. Next up, we've got Metroid Prime. Love this game. Love it so much. This was the game that made me fall in love with the Metroid series. And then I got into all of the Game Boy Advance games and everything. And Man, I really wish they would make another Metroid Prime game instead of making Federation Force. I mean, I'm sure that game's probably going to be fun, but I'd much prefer another Metroid Prime game, or at least a 2.5D Metroid game on the 3DS. I don't know why they don't make that. Next up, I was really happy to find this. This is actually excuse me, the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. This has the bonus disc with it, and it's still sealed. I actually found this at a Goodwill for $2. It is starting. There are rips in it though, unfortunately, but for all intents and purposes, it is still sealed. So I was very surprised to find that there. Um, Next up, I do have kind of a beat up copy of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. The game is in pretty good condition though. Uh, this was kind of a departure a little bit from the original Metroid, but still a fun game. I think it's a bit harder than the first one, but still a really good game. Next up, we have Shadow the Hedgehog. What a strange game for Sonic Team to make. Just really, really odd. Okay, so the character of Sonic has attitude and he's super fast. And then we have Shadow the Hedgehog, who is the dark version of Sonic. And he's fast too, but he carries guns and broods, and every time he dies, yells, "Damn." It's very strange. I don't understand. And they wanted to market this for kids. I mean, it's everyone 10 and up, but still, that very very strange. I don't know what they were thinking. As far as the game goes, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's odd. It's a big departure from the Sonic series. But next up, we've got Sonic Heroes. This is, I guess, kind of a divisive Sonic game. Some people really like it, some people don't. I like it a lot. It has this team mechanic where you can switch between different team members. Sonic is speed, Knuckles is kind of power, he can fight, and then Tails flies, so you switch between them on the go. It's kind of fun. It does kind of get in the way of speeding through the levels, but I still had fun with the game. Next up, we have a copy of Sonic Mega Collection. Love these games. Grew up on them. This has Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic Spinball, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and some unlockable games and secrets and stuff in there. But great collection. Next up, we've got Spider-Man. This is actually a decent movie game. Not the best, but it's decent. Definitely has some camera problems and control issues, but not a terrible game. And it does have Bruce Campbell narrating, so that's just an added plus there. And then we have Spider-Man 2, and this is kind of, people have praised this as kind of the pinnacle of movie license games, and especially with the Spider-Man games. And I think that how they set this up works really well. The web slinging works really well, and I think trying to copy the success of this game is partly a good idea. And I think they kind of captured that with the two Amazing Spider-Man games, but didn't really add much to it, unfortunately. Next up, we have Spyro: A Hero's Tale. Can you believe that I still haven't played this yet? I just bought it because it was in really good condition for a good price. So next up, we have SSX Tricky, kind of a fun arcadey snowboarding game. I'm getting into some Star Wars games. I think I have all of the Star Wars games on GameCube. I might be wrong, but I don't know. First up, we've got Star Wars Bounty Hunter, a really cool game where you play as Jango Fett and you can collect bounties on people. It's an interesting game. There are some things I don't think were fleshed out enough as far as some of the mechanics in the game, but still fun. Next, we've got the Clone Wars. This is a pretty fun game. It's mainly vehicle based, and that's probably the best part of the game. Uh, there are parts of it where you can play as different Jedi on foot, and those are kind of clunky, but a decent game nonetheless. Then we have Star Wars Jedi Outcast Jedi Knight 2. I love this game. I love it so much. This is a great game. It plays better on PC than it does on consoles, but I still really wanted to pick it up on consoles because I never played it on consoles. My copy is a bit beat up, but I think this actually goes for. I haven't really looked up the price, but I think it's a bit more expensive than what I wound up paying for it. And it's a bit harder to find. Next up, we've got Star Wars Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2. Fantastic game. I think this was a launch title for the GameCube, and it's just great. The graphics still hold up really well to this day, and just a really fun game. Next up, we've got Superman Shadow of Apocalypse. Um, you may disagree, but I think this is one of the better Superman games that came out. Um, Superman 64 sucked, but this is based off the animated series, and this is a fun game. You have access to all Superman's powers from the start. The controls can be a bit awkward, but the graphics are great. The presentation is fantastic. It fits in with the animated series really well. Why did I pick it up on GameCube? Um, I don't know. I originally played it on GameCube. I remember going into a GameStop because the weird thing was like this came out on PlayStation 2 first, and then I looked online and it, they claimed that a GameCube version was coming. And I remember going into a GameStop and asking, it's like, oh, do you know when the GameCube version of this game's coming out? And they're like, oh, there's no GameCube version. It's like, yes, there is. It's coming out. It's like, no, there's not. So, so yeah, I'm glad I have it back on GameCube. Unfortunately, I don't have the manual, but still a fun game. Now, next two games, these are games that I haven't really played too much of, but they are pretty fun. It's Super Monkey Ball and Super Monkey Ball 2. These are kind of puzzle games, um, but fun games, fun games. Next up, we've got True Crime Streets of LA. This is kind of a GTA clone, but it's still pretty fun. Back when I had my original GameCube collection, this is one that I picked up, paid full price for it, um, and now I picked it up again and got it at Goodwill for $2. So, but still a fun game. Next up, we've got Ultimate Spider-Man. Really cool game. I love the Ultimate Spider-Man series, and this game's a lot of fun. And this is a recent pickup. I don't know if I showed this in my recent game pickups video, but it's X-Men Legends, and this is in really good condition. This is an action RPG, a lot of fun. Definitely recommend this. Well, guys, that is it for my GameCube collection. So tune in next time for part 3 of my entire video game collection, where I talk about my Wii games. So as always, like the video, share it, and subscribe. Till next time.